married Noelle in 1990, just before leaving for law school. Jack and Noelle have been married for 34 years, but it wasn't until 2019 that they started working together as lawyers. Noelle started her own law firm since 2005. Jack spent most of his career as a trial and appeals lawyer, handling a wide variety of cases before Noelle persuaded him to join her practice and add litigation and negotiation experience to her business. Jack and Noelle have 2 children, Natalie, 27, and James, 22. Natalie graduated from UF in 2019 and is married to Tyler White. James is slated to complete his finance education at UCF in 2025. James says UCF stands for You Can't Finish. He sells life insurance as a part-time job, and Jack and Noelle also have 2 dogs, a rescue named Pepper and a 2.5-year-old Pickles. Pickles has the honor of being the office dog and occasional emotional support animal. Jack is an avid musician and fisherman. Something you may not know about Jack is that his desk was used by his father and grandfather, who were also lawyers.
If I'd have known Linda Braithwaite was going to be here, I would have brought my guitar and written another parody song for us to perform. That's always fun, and I miss you, Linda, by the way. And another thing you probably don't know about me is I do come from a family of lawyers, and I had very proud of the fact my uncle was the clerk of the Florida Supreme Court for over 30 years. He held the position longer than anyone else has, and no one will probably ever hold it as long as he did. And he navigated the court through a very difficult period in the 70s, which is, a few of you weren't born then, but the Florida Supreme Court had a huge scandal in the 70s, and many of the justices and judges that were around that time credit my uncle for getting the court through that period without it completely losing all its credibility. So I'm very proud of that, and it was nice when after I took the bar in 1993, I got a call from him, and he says, "Don't tell anyone, but you passed." So I found out sooner than probably anyone else did. Thanks to that. But I'm proud to have his name on my license to practice law in Florida. Anyway, so we hold the estate planning seat in the chapter, and that is the main focus of our practice is estate planning. We also do probate administration. Those are the 2 big drivers of business in our office. As for estate planning, that obviously includes 2 main vehicles, the wills and trust, and we do both. Noelle is really the one that specializes in trust drafting because it's a little bit of art form to it, and I simply haven't been doing that as long as her wills are more straightforward. I do many wills, and but I leave the trust drafting to her. And the other vehicle we use are deeds of various kinds. So I've talked about the Lady Berger Enhanced Life Estate deed. That's a deed where you basically designate a beneficiary for your property. It avoids probate, so the cost of the deed is more than offset by the savings by not having to have that asset go through probate. We try to do our estate planning so that we do try to help our clients avoid probate. We counsel them on doing beneficiary designations on accounts. We try to have what I would generically call a holistic approach to it. We try to do top to bottom, talk about all the assets they have and how to keep those assets from having to be a probate. That said, you do not know what you may be owning at the time you pass away. For instance, it happens from time to time that someone has done a great job of estate planning, but they become an heir just before they pass away. Well, that asset is in the name of another estate and has to be distributed to that person. So you may have done a perfect job of estate planning, kept everything out of probate, and you may still need a will at some point. So it can happen. So, we look at that as these things as it's better to have a will and not need it than to need a will and not have it. So the other thing we like our clients to have are advanced directives, and that includes a durable power of attorney a healthcare surrogate form, and a living will. The durable power of attorney is basically a document that allows you to designate someone to act for you, even if you become incapacitated. That means through a process like a dementia, or something more significant like a significant medical event where you become incapacitated. In a coma would be an example of that. And it may become necessary while you're incapacitated for a transaction to take place involving joint property with the spouse. This is the most important area for it to be, is have spouses to have their durable power of attorney for each other. It allows them to sign off on transactions without the other person being present. So there are a lot of times this can be more handy than you think it is. I had a friend who had to buy a new car suddenly and didn't have the money. She was actually lives in Indiana, was down here taking care of her mom. She needed a new car right away. Well, in order to get the money, they had to take a loan on the house, and she had to fly all the way back up to Indiana to do that transaction and fly back. And of course, if she had had a durable power of attorney, I wouldn't have done one for her anyway, because she's an Indiana resident, because we only practice in Florida. But anyway, that's an example of how it can pay for itself very easily. The other thing we like people to have is a healthcare surrogate form. And many of you, your primary doctor may have asked you this question: do you have the healthcare surrogate form? Because it's something when you get it, you want to give it to your primary physician and have them have it, so in case it's needed by some other medical facility in the county, they can easily access it. Anyway, a healthcare surrogate form it's a form of a power of attorney, but it's limited to healthcare decisions. The durable power of attorney is for financial things, all kinds of transactions, keeping a business running, that kind of thing. Healthcare surrogate is limited to decisions about your health care. And it's nice to know that you have someone who could speak for you in the event that you're not able to talk to a doctor. If you're in a coma, intubated, or unable to communicate with the doctors, it's great to have someone that you trust named so they can talk to them for you. And the last one we like you to have is a living will. Some of you may have been around here long enough to remember the Terry Schiavo case. Worst case scenario for not having a living will, millions of dollars spent litigating whether or not to turn off the life support for a person. Anyway, so the other thing we do is probate administration. That's and we use two forms of that. Generally, it's a formal administration where we have a personal representative, or the other one we like to use is summary administration, which is faster, streamlined proceeding. We generally like to wait until someone's been dead 2 years to do those, because that will time. Okay, I talk that much anyway. Anyway, so but that's it. We do some probate litigation too, and sorry I didn't have a song today on my guitar, but anyway, thank you very much.